Hi, I'm Marilyn Chakota from Marilyn Chakota Coaching, and this is Jennifer Volman. Today we're going to demonstrate and talk about big gear sessions on the trainer. So we know that in cycling, having that ability to turn over a really big gear and build that muscular endurance and that muscular endurance strength is really key to good cycling. Doing these high torque, really, it's if you're going to take strength training and make it sport specific, this is where we can do it. And if you're, have the ability to get out on a hill like a 2 to 4% grade and work in a big gear and build your leg strength, your sport specific strength and your muscular endurance for cycling on a hill, and you have that available to you, then that's always a great way to go. But for the most part, a lot of people don't have that these days. They're on the trainers a lot more. We can still really target that by doing big gear work on the trainer. Really important for triathlon racing and developing the time trialing skills. So this is a session that you'll see pretty common in a lot of people's programs. So we're going to demonstrate how to go through this and how you might set this type of workout out. You do a nice warm-up, so start in a nice light gear where you're warming up maybe 10, 15 minutes. You start to, warm yourself up really well. Light spinning to start with. You might even, we're not going to take you through the whole workout here on this demonstration today, but you might design a workout 10, 15 minute warm-up. You might have a couple 1 minute builds where you get your heart rate up a little bit and get things warmed up a little bit deeper, 2 by 1 minute on a 2 minute rest ratio, and bring things up to, let's say, around 70 to 80% effort, then fully recover from that, and then set your big gear session up. Start out, if you haven't done a lot of this kind of work, you might start out with about 8 minutes worth of work. If you're very experienced, you might start to work up into that 20-minute range, 30-minute range, and maybe even up to an hour's worth of broken big gear work. And when I say broken, that can look in a lot of different ways. An example might be 6 by 5 minutes on 2 minutes recovery. And so that 5 minutes is where we're really building that strength endurance and that sport-specific strength in the bike with the big gear work. And so, Jennifer's just warming up here, nice and easy. You can see it's a nice light gear. Her cadence is nice and light. And from here, this is the type of session, if you're on a road bike, you can just be up on your hoods. If you're a triathlete or you're developing your time trialing, you want to do this session in your time trial bars. So I'm going to ask you to go into your time trial bars. She's well warmed up. We've already gone through a really good warm up. She's going to maybe even adjust her trainer where the tension is going to increase quite a lot. If you're at that level where your legs are strong, you bring the tension up on the trainer. And then you're going to shift through the gears. So start to go maybe, depending on how strong you are, for a strong athlete, get up into your big chain ring. And then, you're going to work your way through the gears until you start to get to that point where a good range starting point would be 60 to 65 RPM. That's a good target. If you're really strong and you're on the more advanced end of developing your strength endurance on a bike or your sport specific strength, you can target that 50 to 55 RPM. I think below 50, you're starting to get on a range where there's so much torque that there's more risk for your knees and your back and your hips and those kinds of injuries to happen. And the gains from that even lower RPM isn't that much. So, above 65 RPMs, we're not getting the amount of torque that we need to really develop that strength. And below 50 RPMs, I think, the benefit of going lower and harder, maybe the risk outweighs the benefit. So that's a good range to work within that. More experienced 50 to 55, less experienced or just starting out with this type of work, 60 to 65 RPMs. So go ahead. We're going to go into hard enough here that we start to see what you're looking for and you're wanting to feel is a lot of tension and torque, muscle tension. So there's a lot of muscle tension. The body is very still. So we shouldn't see a lot of movement in the upper body. The arms should still be relaxed. The upper back should be relaxed. She wants some leverage. She can wrap her hands around her air bars and pull up on the handlebars a little. But the core is tight. Core is tight. Back is nice and flat and relaxed. Upper body still. And all the focus is on driving the legs strong through the bike. I'm going to ask Jennifer to go up 2 or 3 more gears. We're going to exaggerate this a little bit for you so you can really see that strong muscle tension through the legs, really developing strength. if I was going to put you in the gym and say, let's do really strong, slow leg press, similar type feeling, but we can see we're sport-specific strength now. So we're really working on the specifics of our sport and developing the strength in the core and in the legs and the muscle tension that we need to ride a bike fast, and especially time trial fast. So she's really focused on her driving through the bike, feeling her pedals through her feet, but the upper body is nice and still and the core is nice and strong. And just to even exaggerate more for you, I'm going to ask her to go up into even one harder gear. You see how that's really creating a lot of tension and strength through her muscles, and she's really pushing and developing that leg strength in order to ride her bike fast. But still, nice and still through the body. That's it. And she can pull up on the handlebars if she needs that extra torque, if you're doing this on a hill outside. But the upper body stays nice and still. Strong drive through the legs. And this effort level, you can work it up to about 80% or even target threshold watts. So the heart rate may take longer to respond, but the watts should be reading quite high. So you might be targeting 80-85% in terms of watts, but the heart rate will take a little longer to respond on this type of work, because all of the focus and the tension is in the muscles, not necessarily on the heart. Good, and then you go ahead and if you've done that for 5 minutes, or if you're starting out, maybe you start out with 2 minutes, 3 minutes, work your way up to 5 minutes, and then as you grow experience, you might lengthen that interval out longer and longer. So like I said, I recommend start with something like, 4 by 2 minutes on 1 minute recovery, and you might build that all the way to 6 by 5 minutes on 2 minute recovery. And the recovery, what that should look like is go ahead and really just gear way back down into nice easy gear. Good. And then just relax. Just really, really relax. You can even slow your pedaling down even more and just recover. Let the heart rate come down, let the muscles recover. The mistake I see a lot of athletes do is they don't make the hard work hard enough, and they're taking the recovery too hard. So make the recovery easy enough your body can completely recover, let the muscle recover, let the heart rate come down. Just really chill out, just really relax. Keep the legs moving. We don't want to go out for a latte or anything. Keep the legs moving, but really let everything recover so that when you do the interval, you have the most amount of energy to put into that interval and be nice and strong and put your maximum effort into the interval. All right, cheers.